Well, we're back, and it's the other week for We've Got This Buttered. First of all, I'd like to say hello to the chat. How is everyone doing, whether you're a mod, member, subscriber, or Tim Talk trying to make Crisco jokes everywhere I go? It's like a grease trail. It just keeps following me. It's going to be an hour episode. Hopefully, it might go a little longer. Who knows how the things go. And first, but not foremost, I would quickly like to say this show has been brought to you by Master Grift. Don't steal content without it. And that's coming from a real grifter. I'd like to welcome Gary from Pop Culture Minefield.
Hello.
I'm sorry about the new camera. He looks 10 times uglier. Can't help it. And we have Keith on the phone.
Hello.
Hi, guys. And how are you guys doing? It's been a while since we've actually sat together. Well, Keith, Babylon 5 like usual. But yeah, every 2 weeks we're going to do this, or every other week. And happy celebration to the first episode of the TOS series of Star Trek, which is today.
Yay, happy Star Trek Anniversary Day. Woo.
Yeah, I don't know why CBS and everybody else is all about making it about all of Star Trek. It's not. This is the day that the first episode of Star Trek launched.
Yeah,
and that's what we're celebrating is the original series.
Yeah,
not the rest of it.
I mean, it's great to show that as a direct result of the successful original series, but it really is about the 1966 to 1969 series, and to do anything else is kind of disingenuous. As I've been saying online, you have the whole of September to use, or really the whole of the year, to celebrate the launch dates of various other television shows. And it just goes to show what CBS probably instinctively understands, is that nobody really gives a care about any of their corporate Trek stuff. Whether it's STD all the way to whatever animated series that they decided to announce is actually for kids. So I could care about hardly any of it. So today, it's just Star Trek, period. There's nothing after that. No other words. It's just Star Trek.
And it marks the 55th anniversary, if we're actually going to highlight things in general, since the cult science fiction series was launched in the U.S. on this date, but in 1966. And I'm going to show a quick diagram from a site who has not only shown us great Trek to the downfall of the Frontier's female, which has no actual relevance within Star Trek because it was inclusive across not just races, sexes, how you identify, how you not identify, who you bang. Didn't freaking matter because the whole pretense of the show was to boldly go where no one has gone before. Exploration, the betterment of mankind, the learning and understanding of everything as a whole, not the inner workings of social fucking politics. It was to inspire imagination.
Where no man has gone before was human. I don't know why they even felt the need to change that. It was goofy.
Thank you for correcting me on that one because that actually bothers people. And hello, Polymes, Reaper, and everyone else I see in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. But everyone knows the ship. Everyone knows the Enterprise. Everyone knows Kirk, Spock. The newer generations might not, but this is where it all sprouted from. This is where brilliance was in the making. Thanks to Gene Roddenberry.
And for this particular version of the ship, ILM also.
And with that, Keith, you're going to take it away right now, and I will go through these pictures over time. But for those in the chat, are you Star Trek fans? And what memories do you remember of Trek, whether it be family, friend, or anything? Say it in the chat. Share out the stream. What just set on fire? Oh, my headphones just got a weird sound effect. After you, Keith.
Well, do you just want me to read the words underneath the pictures?
You can read or you can talk as a fan. Either way, I can.
Okay. Star Trek, first and foremost, was originally the brainchild of Mr. Eugene Wesley Roddenberry, who was actually born in Texas and raised in Los Angeles. After serving as a pilot during World War II, he went to Los Angeles and became a police officer, even a motorcycle cop for a while, and eventually made his way into writing for television. And basically, eventually happening upon an idea for a television series called Star Trek. Lucky enough to be able to sell the idea to Desilu Studios, which at that time had already experienced some major changes with Lucille Ball having bought out her ex-husband, Desi Arnaz, who was really the business brains behind their entire operation, with Lucy as the creative brains on that side of it.
And they had a huge impact on our childhood, yours and mine, because they produced two of our favorite shows, Star Trek and Mission Impossible.
Which, ironically, were both sold at the same time to NBC. And because both shows were sold, Desilu had to come up with a way of being able to produce two shows on the budget of one. So they decided to give all that money to Mission Impossible and to allow Star Trek to just basically kind of fend for themselves.
We'll turn a salt shaker into a tricorder.
Well, depending on the order that you watch the episodes in, many of the guest stars in Mission Impossible and a lot of the objects that you would see used in episodes of Mission Impossible would eventually wind up inside of a week on Star Trek. So
I know that Star Trek had a $10,000 an episode costume budget.
And
stop and think about how freaking low that is, even for the 60s.
Yeah. Well, they again, it took a long time to realize how much work they actually put into that show. For me, I was born 2 months after the premiere of the series, so I was actually too young to even remember.
Yeah, I win. I was born before it. Yeah.
Well, what I'm getting around to saying is the majority of televisions at that time were all black and white, and it was difficult to be able to see.
I was wondering when you would turn it to race.
It was difficult to be able to see the show in color. In fact, growing up, I didn't even realize Star Trek was in color until I went to go visit my grandparents one day and actually caught an episode. I'd been watching it mainly in black and white for the first couple of years. And
did you do the look?
I think everybody did the look. But the thing about it is that when they did work to upgrade the look of the series, to re-record a lot of the music, I think a lot of us who were not around during the initial broadcast of the show never really realized, after years of watching it in syndication and you're seeing copies of episodes being broadcast, how much real work they put into in the lighting of the show. It took me years to even find out that the color scheme that they used within the costumes was also reflected on the walls and the backgrounds in many of the scenes. So different sections of the ship, and on a black and white television, it all looks the same, the corridors and everything, but you can tell you're on a different section of the ship, probably on a different level of the ship, by the color in the background for whatever scene that you're in. So you can tell you're on a different level, different floor than, say, medical or engineering or whatever.
Now,
yeah.
Quickly, I want to jump in with the first picture we see on screen here. And it goes from the moon to the entire universe.
Yes.
The Starship Enterprise got off to a rather bumpy start in the U.S. when it first launched on September 8th in 1966. This changed with the growing interest in the Apollo program and the successful lunar landing, also known as people think still it's a hoax, in 1969. Suddenly, people felt closer to space and science fiction was hip. It gave the ability to dream. It caused inspiration in wanting to not only look up at the stars, but try and reach out to them and grab on hold. With more and more TV channels featuring the series, Star Trek was the first shown in Germany in 1979. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's old. Although that picture and this picture are both from 1979. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's weird that they chose to use the movie Enterprise rather than the series Enterprise.
Why is that?
What do you mean? This day is about the television series. All of these images, these first two images, are from the movie from 1979. After they,
yeah, I mean, I love that movie, but
it's a fantastic film. But
they should be posting images from 1966 to 69. The original Star Trek Enterprise, where it had the tube-shaped nacelles and the non-angular, the winged-looking nacelle supports. What do they call them? Pylons.
You mean the nacelles?
The nacelles are the tubes
I know.
that look like rockets. And then, of course, the pylons are the two angled ruts that stick out that hold the nacelles up. And the pylons on the Enterprise from 79 are completely different, as well as the nacelles from the TV series. And they changed the forward array, on the ship to glow. They gave it a glowing forward array. The only thing that relatively stayed close to the original series is kind of the neck and the primary hull.
Well, the overall shape
or the secondary hull. Hull.
The overall shape of the ship stayed the same, and so in making
it's recognizable. Yeah,
it is a classic shape.
Oh, did I see Thomas?
Hey, Thomas. Yes, I didn't want to interrupt the comment. Be like, hello, and thank you for being a member of the channel.
Hello to everyone.
We can segue if you want to.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we'll come back to this because because I don't know how long we'll have Thomas.
All right, I don't think he's going to be on, but like I know a lot of people. You're friends of Thomas. You know Thomas Gilkey. This is my personal statement on a situation that has arisen over the last few days, and I don't know this person. I've never watched their content. I don't give a fuck about their content, nor their ability to go after anyone that is more popular than them to maintain relevance. So far to the point where they grift their own accusations and personifications of projection of others being grifters because their voices are hitting a bigger audience because they are speaking from the heart of opinion rather than the heart of jealousy. Now, the one thing I saw yesterday, and that is a shout out to Snow Dub. And I know a lot of people have heard this shit, and I will say this because Thomas is a friend of mine. He is a member and mod of my channel. He has been supportive to everyone around here. And I'm going to say one thing on this shit. You don't make private attacks on other people on YouTube or in the community, whether you think it's a private joke or not. You know exactly why you took this screenshot of this person because of what he's wearing and what it represents. You think you have the ability to talk down to anyone you see as weaker than you, and then you play like just because it's a private DM, you're in a safe zone. I'm attacking the actions here. I don't give a fuck what you think, but don't attack my friends. Don't attack our friends or people in our community because you want to make a jab in a DM. I don't ever want to watch your content. I'm not even going to name you. But what you did was fucking pathetic, and you owe this man an apology. You do. And I'm speaking on behalf of Fat Steven, dude. We've all been bullied. We've all been joked and talked behind our backs. Doing this fucking shit to maintain relevancy is petty. I kept my tongue shut last night when I first saw this fucking crap. And I'm sick of this shit. Stop attacking other channels. Just go to this, whatever, whoever this person is. He's a nobody to me. I don't care. But I'm bringing it to my attention because I don't think it's funny the way you do this. If you're friends with this person, good for you. I'm not going to judge you any different. I'm going to judge the actions.
Well, it's the same high school shit, you know.
It's fucking pathetic.
People who find that funny are the same kids you met in high school that like to making fun of other kids. I don't think it's cool. Keith and I have a basic philosophy that we don't attack other YouTubers. I think it's unprofessional. And to be honest with you, it's scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as behavior goes. It's pretty scummy. I'm not going to take any shots at the person who did it. I'm just criticizing the behavior. Don't criticize other YouTubers. I think it's shitty in order to try to build yourself up. That's just fucking weird.
And you know what? You're calling two people grifters, all these people grifters, and then you're relating to someone that literally did actual harm with another person who literally caused a person to self-delete, and you're trying to associate they're the same type of person. God, you have no idea what you're fucking talking about except trying to get clicks.
Yeah, it's typical.
Thomas,
it's typical for that person.
And I know a lot of people say this, and I will stand by Thomas no matter what, because not only has he given his ear to me and a lot of us out there, he has invited us onto streams just to everyone joke around and meet everyone and have that like bar experience.
Well, Thomas is a real sweetheart, period, you know. Yeah. He's always thoughtful, you know, so I don't understand people that do this shit. I really don't. I don't like any of the YouTubers who partake in this shit of going after other YouTubers and other people. I think it's just a shitty thing to do.
Okay, I think Tim Talks is a real person, Zax. So I don't know what's going on in the chat, but sorry, Tim, it was probably an accident. But that's all I'm going to say on this matter, because Thomas, I know it's not really my story, but it's made me live it all day. And you don't deserve any of that shit. And it's just because of what you're wearing. You're well known around the community, and you're wearing a Ryan Kindle shirt and a Geeks and Gamers shirt. So of course you're going to be one of the ones that he wants to.
Well, I think Kylock nailed it there. You know, because Keith, do you want to weigh in on this as far as what Kylock's saying? Because I agree. I think that when someone's not doing so well, they start lashing out.
This type of behavior really should be beneath all of us. Amen. I mean, seriously, all of us that do this should be very thankful, first of all, that we're able to do something like this, and that there are people out there that want to enjoy what we do. And if there are people that enjoy what Thomas does or what you and I do, what anybody does, we should be thankful.
Because I treat all you fuckers equally. I don't like any of you. I don't watch any of your fucking shows.
I think this is about just being, you know, just our better selves.
Hold on. I'm going to get you unremoved, unhide this. Okay, Tim, you're back. I think someone grabbed his phone. There you go. Sorry about that. Tim's, I suppose Zach's kid grabbed the phone and started timing out people, or something happened. So I'm so sorry, Tim. You're back in the channel. Please don't hold that against.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Kyle.
But that wasn't Tim. That was Gilkman. And thank you for giving me your blessings. But like, dude, I've seen enough people getting attacked over the last few months, the last few weeks. I'm tired of it, man. I've even been on that board. I'm sick of it. Stop it. Just grow the fuck up. If you don't like a person, you can't deal with people's popularity. It's not their fault. It's yours. You're literally grifting attention off of them because you want to be acknowledged by their community.
Well, exactly.
We don't care if it's hate or good.
You're exactly, Stephen. You're mentioning them in order to boost
Be
yourself.
with them. Yeah, it's okay. And dude, you're not even worth a fuck you. Just stop attacking people, man. Everyone needs to.
Yeah.
You don't like someone or someone's doing more successful, look at your channel and see what's wrong.
And whatever
Sorry,
you do,
message you, Tim. I'm tired of this. And this is me talking from the heart, okay? I have nothing against the people who are friends with whoever this person is. I that's not my place to judge. I never will. But I don't like the actions.
Yeah.
We got to be better than this now, okay? I've had a year of this shit with people. People still try to do this. I'm done. Thomas doesn't need it either. Nobody needs this. No one wants to wake up and see their face planted around because other people are standing up to them because one person wants to vilify or mock or just target them. Like it's high school.
I mean, they can
like,
do it to someone like me because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. If I've had so many people say nasty shit about me in my life. I don't care. I just don't care. I don't fucking care.
And that's all I'm going to say. Sorry, Tim, you got timed out. You're back. You're unhid from the channel. Thomas, man, if you need anything, let me know. I just want to get that off my chest because it's the same bullying shit. I'm just sick of this. Whether it's in a private DM or not, you don't have the right to do that shit. Whatever your problem is with the Fandom Menace, it's a group of people. It is a community of people. It's not one fucking person. That's where you fucked up. Let it go, Elsa. Move on. Move it the fuck on.
All right.
And
moving back to
Trek.
Star Trek. It's Star Trek Day, a day that we celebrate Star Trek 1966, not the entire fucking franchise.
So I go into that quickly. Are you right? The original version of the ship, which flew through the endless expanses of space, carried the label USS Enterprise NCC-1701. The show's canon says it was built in the year 2245 and commanded by James Tiberius Kirk from 2264 until 2269. Ladies. Kirk eventually had to destroy it to keep it from being used by enemies. Later models can separate the saucers section from the hull in an emergency. That's not even the same series. What the fuck? No, forget that one. That's a different.
No, he's talking about.
No.
It was always there. They didn't use it.
I'm sorry. I was started thinking Generation. I lost my shit. Sorry about that. I'm doing better now. Tekkaman Blade, nice to see you. And I meant GG, CG. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'll start. Yeah, I get it. Tekkaman, but it's done with that crap. Guy needs to grow up. Slim fast. Getting back into it, beat me up, Scotty. When Scotty is in the transport room and moving those oversized sliders, you know that with that fucking sound, you just remember hearing it. The beamers give off a high-pitched squeal, and the bodies of the crew split into molecules to be transported to alien planets if all goes well. Sorry, Broccoli. You know you didn't like those at all. Travelers eventually return to the ship in the original form, not always, like above. And I'll go back to you and Gary Keith.
Wow. Again, this is one of the true contributions of the show. Doing something like this and creating something as original as a transporter because they didn't have the budget to actually have a ship land or take off from a planet. So creating that, wow, necessity being the true mother of invention. And this is really one of those staples now of Hollywood science fiction and science fiction in general that you just can't have Star Trek without.
Yeah, I remember Star Trek. I remember when my dad started showing me Star Trek, and I started getting into it and watching it. Not every episode grabbed me at first. Fucking the ADHD kept me all over the place, but B, it was you had those moments where you would see it like say the lava creature and shit. You know the one I'm talking about. What are they called? I forget what they're called and stuff like that.
The Horta.
The Horta.
Yeah.
The Horta. Or you would get pulled in by watching ships battle in space and watching a slow photon torpedo going towards its target, or being chased by I
just shared an image with you. I wanted to show you something, Steven.
Oh, why are you putting your dick on here?
What?
the NCC 1701 is here, but just in front of it, there's this little triangular shape. And a lot of fans wondered for a long time, what was that? And that was in the design from the original as one of the landing ruts that went down when they would go to planets. It was like a saucer, just like Forbidden Planet. The top would detach and go down, not the entire ship, just the saucer section would go down to a planet. And there were landing pads. And as I recall, the neck itself was one of the landing pads. And then they had on each side of the Enterprise, one of those, you can see it here and here, and those came down so they could land.
Oh, okay. So technically it was a flying saucer. Got it.
Yeah. Because a lot of this was inspired by Forbidden Planet.
Okay.
That was one of the that was one of really the places where Roddenberry got an idea for what would eventually become Star Trek. The other was the movie The Adventures of Horatio Hornblower. Was the other film that gave him Roddenberry an idea. So
See, I never knew that the actual original Enterprise could separate. I did not know that. I was not in that generation. I didn't know that, so I just learned something new today. That's actually pretty cool.
it is. It is. I mean, you know, the thing about Star Trek that I think a lot of people out there should really understand is that Star Trek was really the first television series to ever allow people to know and understand how television shows were put together. Thus, the book, Gene Roddenberry's with Stephen E. Whitfield, the book that he put out called The Making of Star Trek, because that's exactly what the book is. And that book was used as a textbook in a lot of universities and colleges that would teach television production. How to have an idea, how to take that idea and create a basic script to create a Bible for a television show. And again, there's a lot of people who have never heard that term before. I knew that back when I first read the book in high school, what a Bible was, which is a document that has all of your main characters, where your main setting will be for whatever television show you have ever seen. Every television show has had a Bible because it's used by your writer's room to help people to understand exactly how the show goes, what character does what they're responsible for what. And as a show goes on, you add more and more to a character's backstory within the Bible.
You're technically you're creating like what, not an anthology, but like an almanac of everything.
Yeah, it's meant to be an almanac of information so that any new writers coming into the show, they know everything just by reading that.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, later on, and Shatner took part in this as the narrator, was working on the documentary Chaos on the Bridge, which talked about the troubles, not just for Next Generation, but what happened in the original series that went into the making of even the Star Trek films with the original crew. And we learned who one of the bad guys, well, two of the bad guys behind the scenes.
Star Trek was a show that, in every sense, probably should not have worked, but had one of the best writing staffs one could ask for. And I will say this again. If you want to understand why J. Michael Straczynski did what he did with Babylon 5, you really have to understand and know the history of Star Trek. Not all the other spinoff shows of this Star Trek. Yeah. This is what he based, and this is considered his gold standard of what a science fiction series should be. Now, a lot of people will point to a lot of British shows, and he had that too. But as far as American science fiction shows go, this was his number one gold standard.
Sorry, I had to take a moment out for Mirror Universe Uhura because that goes with any anniversary. I'm sorry. Never go back to that.
But this show was a show that really just was the true gold standard of how to put really a show together like this. And lots of different stories, television series, and films help to basically set the stage for Roddenberry to create this. A.E. Van Voigt's, an author that also helped, the aforementioned Horatio Hornblower novels, as well as the film, The Adventures of Horatio Hornblower, Rocky Jones Space Ranger, Forbidden Planet, the classic film. Without all of that, you never would have had Star Trek.
I want to quickly say this quickly because this makes a brilliant point with this one. Multicultural workplace. This is coming from the 60s, right?
Mm-hmm.
The original show managed to overcome all racial and gender boundaries in the 1960s. America. Characters from Scotland, Russia, and Japan work together on the bridge with Americans. 2 women are also part of the team. One of them, Lieutenant Hero, played by African-American actress Nichelle Nichols, serves as a Starfleet officer. Communications.
Bridge officer.
Bridge officer, yes. She became the first Black woman with such a strong role. So why is it we're with Trek lately we're going down the road saying like it's never fucking happened before? Why we can celebrate the brilliance that came in the 60s right here. Look at this. Look at this crew.
Because you're dealing with people who, A, have no real experience with the show, B, were never science fiction fans. So they don't know of any other science fiction television show outside of even Star Trek. And C, just aren't really fans of the genre. Period. Which is all right. There's almost really nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, at the heart of everything, you have a show that's either drama or comedy or mystery. And as long as you're able to write within that genre to figure out what is at the heart of all of it, you're good. But even that seems to be beyond the capabilities of many of the people that work as far as the writing staff of the current corporate Trek offerings.
Well, they don't understand themes. They don't understand making a point. Because Star Trek, the original series, was able to talk about politics and war during a war without you knowing they were really doing it.
Made you think. That was the pretense of Star Trek. It was supposed to make you think, even without you realizing you were thinking. And shows with that type of brilliance are one of those things you can always turn back to and actually associate with what happened then and when it was produced to what's happening today. Because that's the whole point of episodes like this. It makes you think. It's not just a past tense. It is a present ongoing tense.
Here's something that you also have to understand. Star Trek really was the more cerebral show on television when compared to the show that actually, quote unquote, was popular and was being promoted properly by the network that owned it. Okay? I am talking about Lost in Space. Lost in Space was a more successful show that was that had a higher budget and was embraced and supported by the network that had it, which was CBS. And not that NBC didn't like Star Trek, but the amount of support that Lost in Space got was clearly more upfront and was more substantial than anything that Star Trek got during its three-year run. But that was also the kind of science fiction that Hollywood and the general public at that time, who were, neck deep in whatever number of Westerns were being put out, that Star Trek really was a little too cerebral for a lot of people.
And not that those shows didn't also cut corners on their budgets by swapping props and costumes. Yeah. We saw that with Lost in Space, Batman shared a lot of stuff. You'll see stuff on Batman that actually came from Lost in Space. And as I recall, wasn't that true also with Voyage?
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, yeah, which was earlier in the decade.
The computers and a lot of the equipment were repurposed.
Well, they were
cut
repurposed
budgets.
stuff from the Academy Award nominated film, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Pretty much it's the same exact thing. It's just different actors playing a lot of the same parts from the original movie. And again, that was Irwin Allen, who would go on to become the master of disaster.
Yeah.
Again,
Towering Inferno, Earthquake.
another person, another name, and a really cool coffee table book that you out there should definitely go and buy, the Irwin Allen book. There's a lot of really cool stuff within that. But
Poseidon Adventure.
but to get back to Star Trek, there are a lot of books out there that talk about this period that they were in and making the show. And for my money, there are very few books that reach the level of either Star Trek creator or Leonard Nimoy's I Am Spock or Shatner's Star Trek Memories,
And of course, you can't have I Am Spock without the original book, I Am Not Spock. Because he did. He wrote that because he resented how Star Trek had derailed his career.
Yeah, and yeah, that was a cool book, and yeah, kind of controversial because of that title. But if I had to pick one book that was the epitome of what it was actually like to work on the show, it would be Inside Star Trek: The Real Story by Herbert F. Solo and Robert H. Justman, because they did something that not anyone else had ever done in putting that book together, which is Mr. Solo was the guy who was in charge of selling the television shows for Desilu to networks. And he was the one that sold Mission Impossible and Star Trek to NBC. In his capacity, he was able to get memos, letters, and other things from that entire time period. And together with Mr. Justman, who also worked on the show, the two of them were able to create the most complete, the most comprehensive, detailed account of what it was actually like to work on that show, Star Trek, from the very first pilot they filmed, which was The Cage, all the way to when the series ended. So
I shared a link with you, Stephen, in the private chat. I'd like to get Keith's thoughts on this article.
One quick second. Inspiration for NASA. In 1976, NASA engineers named the prototype of their space shuttle Enterprise. Of course, on the day of the big press event, the entire crew was present except one individual. Who could that be? I think it was Carmen Sandiego or Waldo.
Well, I know Bijo Trimble had a lot to do with that day.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows the background of Star Trek knows who Bijo is. I've been friends with her for 25 years. What a great lady.
Oh, I know what you're. I know. That's SNL skit actually disappointed him.
Well, I wanted you to show that, and I wanted Keith to say something about the. Oh. What happened?
I don't know.
So suddenly we were alone on the show.
The famed SNL skit.
We're trapped. I don't know how to get out.
I copied and pasted the wrong link on the wrong tab point, and it booted me to your article on the StreamYard article.
Oh.
It's all good. It's
I'm
all
like, it
good.
disappeared, and it was like I joked. We're trapped. We don't know how to get out.
Now,
all good,
speaking of
Steven.
Gary's almost attempted humor. Thank you, everyone, for being here, first of all. And before we do anything, I think I need a quick laugh. So before Keith goes actually into this, because as Gary blows his nose and snot live on camera, Let's just quickly get a laugh. Oh, where the fuck did it go? No. Give me money. Give me money. Thank you for being here. Keith, I guess this is all you.
Yes, from the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah, there is a skit that was done on Saturday Night Live, an appearance by William Shatner that took place at a Star Trek convention. And basically, it seems like Roddenberry was not too pleased with the skit.
Rod Roddenberry, Gene's son.
But check it.
Who, by the way, is one of the executive producers on the new shit that they're showing. So he cares a lot.
Look, let me at least say this. I've always liked Rod. And having met
I like
him,
this documentary.
and having met him, I mean, he's always, at least to me, seemed like a really nice guy, with a name that, you know, in certain circles, just it's got to be a little difficult to deal with a lot that comes with that name. But he seems to be holding up really, really well. I can't explain to you what he's doing and what effect he actually has on the new corporate stuff that's being made from his
It's just a name, and he gets paid.
IP. So, I mean, if he's just getting paid, that's fine, you know.
Otherwise, we'd hear of his involvement, and I've heard nothing.
I don't think he really has anything. I don't think I think he can say stuff, but they don't have to use it.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something here because I want to get back to this thing here. Look, I watched this when it aired, and I did not get bent out of shape because I actually liked the way it ended, which is they're like, hey Bill, you know, these fans, you're working them up. You can't do that. And then he's like, that's my impression of Evil Kirk.
You know, from that other universe.
Yeah, the Transporter episode. Evil Kirk from the Transporter incident. And it was in season 1. I think that was like one of the first 10 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was a clever thing. And he's partaking in a lot of Star Trek riffs, you know, on different shows, Fridays, as well as Saturday Night Live. Do you remember Fridays?
Oh, I love Friday. Fridays was made up.
That's where Michael Richards got his start.
Yes, that was also the show that was made from many writers that used to work on Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
So that was a cool
one
show.
who got fired.
Yes,
and went on to work on Seinfeld and other shows as an executive producer and writer. But what is on the wall there? Do you recognize that? Behind, next to him on the wall.
Our Crux, Hopes, and Dreams.
No, there's a little poster there, a little drawing. A drawing.
That's the Shadowcraft schematic.
Galileo.
Yeah,
that's the schematic for the Galileo, or basically all of the Enterprise shuttles from the original series. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was on the wall, but I loved that skit. I thought it was hilarious. I thought Rod Roddenberry was being kind of a pussy about it. It's like, come on, man. But he could have been quoted out of context, because media likes to throw, make things bigger than they were. He could have said, "Well, when I was a kid," and he left out the whole kid part.
Yeah,
but he didn't even like Star Trek as a kid. Yeah. He admitted that in his documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care what Rod Roddenberry had to say about this.
The thing about this particular skit is I think this skit was also one of the things that helped the people that wrote the movie Galaxy Quest to do what they did.
It did. If he hadn't done that, we would have never gotten Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Second best Star Trek movie ever made.
I agree.
Right after the motion picture, 1979. Because that's a fucking awesome film. I don't give a shit what people say. I fucking love that movie.
Hey, Gary, calm down with your V'ger, okay? Just put your V'ger away and relax. Okay.
All it was a remake of The Changeling. That's it. It was a remake of the episode The Changeling.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a really good idea. You know, I mean, again, that's your pet peeve. My pet peeve is the number of people that have never seen the original series and don't realize that Star Trek The Wrath of Khan is actually called Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan. It is actually a sequel to a story done on the show.
Yeah.
The first two films, both are technically based on episodes from the series.
Yep.
The Changeling motion picture first season, and Wrath of Khan was first season too. But what was some of the trivia about that? Because when he's talking to the captain and Chekhov, what did he say to him?
Daniel.
I never forget a face.
Yes. And the thing is that Chekhov wasn't a character on that.
He was not a character until season 2. That's right.
That's right.
But Gene Roddenberry actually had a great response to that, which was he just was on another deck. He hadn't come up to the bridge yet, ranked up to bridge command. And I'm like, good answer, Gene Roddenberry. God rest his soul.
I've even watched this skit, and honestly, it makes perfect sense. I don't think it was a disgrace or an insult or anything.
Get a life.
Get out of your mother's basement. It was pretty much saying like he's literally William Shatner first, James T. Kirk second, and I think what it comes down to is that we're tired of people only seeing the persona of what they played than the man that is the actor who played that part, and that's where he was going at it with the whole humor of the skit. And that's the brilliance of it, because it's like watching a celebrity losing their mind because they're getting tired of being called Kirk when their name's Will.
Well, one of the things that I think people need to at least understand about Shatner is that he really, you just assumed when the show took off in syndication that he was going to be the big success and that he was going to enjoy financially, and he didn't. In fact, he was the one that basically didn't even really enjoy in the financial success from the show being in syndication, because he had gotten a divorce from his wife and had given her all that money. Because
left him living in a fucking pickup truck camper, and he would go hunting and fishing to stay alive. And one of my favorite stories that he regaled once was while he was in the back of that little pickup camper, a kid walked up to him at a park and saw him, out in the woods park. I'm not talking about like public park, but like a national park. And he was doing some fishing and hunting, and the kid walked up to him and said, "You're Captain Kirk." And he replied in character, "Yes, I am. I'm on an away mission. Don't give up my identification."
I'm trying to catch this alien fish for Spock's dinner.
I just love that Shatner did that.
Well, kid. and that was a story that even a lot of his co-stars never knew when it was happening. Yeah. So as, various co-stars were going to conventions in the beginning, Shatner never showed up to any of the initial conventions they had for Star Trek in the years following the show, because he couldn't really afford to do a lot of stuff. So he had an ex-wife and 3 kids to raise. And so while his co-stars were, with the exception of Leonard Nimoy, because it took even Nimoy some time to eventually make it to some of these conventions. But Shatner was trying to get work, trying to take care of his 3 kids that he had to raise. So that's the reason why he took almost every job that came along, which is the reason why from 1970 until about at least 1977, you saw him make a lot of movies. Kingdom of the Spiders.
TV shows, too. He was always doing guest appearances.
I think he was on the pilot to Columbo. And I think he did The Barbary Coast was another one of his pilots.
I love that show. That was a
decent idea for a show. You could even do that today.
Yeah, it felt a little Wild Wild West, but it was a little more grounded.
It is a little more grounded. But Kingdom of the Spiders, The Devil's Reign, Big Bad Mama. I mean, this is a guy that had to work. And even though some people would make fun of him because it seemed like he was taking everything that came along, well, guess what? He was.
He had to raise those. He had to take care of his kids. He was
had
broken.
3 daughters to raise.
One question. Padres and Papa says, why in the episode where no man has gone before does Kirk's tombstone say James R. Kirk?
It was, well, it's been explained away by Gene himself that the R was a mistake by Gary, that he didn't know Kirk's middle initial. And in the middle of a fight, Kirk's not going to go, hey, that's not even my name. So, but the fact is Kirk didn't have a middle name up until you finally do hear his middle name, which is Tiberius. Named after, according to the new Star Treks, his grandfather.
Actually, no, that actually is canon.
Yeah.
That is
canon. I don't recall. I don't recall it.
I do. Yeah, that came from his grandfather.
Hey, Subhuman.
His grandfather's name actually was Tiberius. The difference is that the big difference between now and then is that the 2009 Star Trek had Kirk born in space rather than in Iowa. So that part of his life is different.
That's fucked up.
Well, it's a different universe. And again, I don't give 2009 Star Trek a hard time. I mean, the plot's a little wackadoodle, but
I'm okay with it. I'm not great with it.
Yeah, it's just, but you know what? The reason why I do not give 2009 Star Trek a hard time is because it's an alternate timeline. To me, that's fine. I'm good with it. Okay, you can do whatever you want in an alternate timeline because it doesn't really affect the original series and the characters and all of that, and that's fine. I always thought that it should have just gone 3 movies anyway and ended with the timeline resetting itself properly. At the very end of
they want to go damn shows. Yeah. Alex Kurtzman wanted to show just how shitty a writer he was.
And that's the other thing. Alex Kurtzman was the co-writer of the 2009 Star Trek. But again, as Gary and I have talked about on our show, we actually, it's actually easy to prove who actually was the talent between him and his former partner.
Robert Orci, yeah. Because Robert Orci is a good writer when he really puts effort. Yeah.
I give him as a decent writer, but he was a big Star Trek fan, and that is pretty much all you really need. Is if you're a fan, a big fan, you can make up for a few things. So
yeah. Whereas Kurtzman and JJ don't know shit about Star Trek.
Yeah. Yes,
they do. No, they do know something about Star Trek. How
to ruin
to fuck it up.
Yep. I knew that joke was coming.
Thank you for killing my joke, Gary. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw it coming. I saw it coming. Everybody else did too. Come on, man. You can do better. I've seen you do better.
This awkward silence was brought to you by Fat Steven. Go fuck yourself, Gary. Better?
Hey, this is my new combat medicat. Just got it today.
Nobody cares.
Oh, you're Canadian. Of course you don't fucking care.
I don't fucking care. No, I know. Pod Racing Palpatine asks, I always thought that when Khan announced himself to Kirk and Spock on Kelvin Timeline, they should have just looked at her and just said, who?
I wish they got the original actor who was up for the part.
Well, he bailed on him, is what happened. I know. Yeah,
but I can't believe they went with who they went with. It was a terrible pick.
Well, again, it's
and I love him as an actor.
Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Doctor Strange?
No, tell him who it was.
Actually, he's right. Benedict Cumberbatch was
No, I'm talking about who had the
original actor.
Oh.
That was Academy Award winner.
Matt Jarbo.
Academy Award winner. I can see his face.
We can't.
He's the collector in the MCU.
Oh, fucking!
No, I thought it was Javier Bardem.
No. It wasn't Harvey.
Was it Benicio del Toro?
It was Benicio del Toro, because the drawings that they had for the art department and designing the costumes were all based on del Toro's face.
No shit.
Yeah. And it was a good story. Not a perfect story. It was a good story.
Well, it relied way too much on mimicking Wrath of Khan.
Not just Wrath of
and
Khan.
not being in the right timeline.
That's the other thing. Wrath of Khan is not the only thing that they reference. Somebody had mentioned the whole thing about when Khan announced himself. The scene where he did that is loosely based on the scene where he does it in the original series. There's references throughout that entire movie hearkening back to the original series episode. Okay, the scene where Khan is talking and he notices when Kirk is silent, and he's able to figure out that Kirk is studying him, just like on the original episode, because that's exactly what happened with Khan before.
I just wish they had, actually cast an Indian actor.
Me too. I wish that too, but that's what they went with. And I think a lot of that was done on Paramount's part because they wanted a quote unquote big name. And if you remember at that time,
Persian or even Middle Eastern,
it was just.
Could you imagine Fahim Fazli?
Oh, jeez. He would have been perfect.
Angry eyebrows.
He would have been perfect as Khan. But, that's fine. But Khan really is, I think, the ultimate Star Trek antagonist.
Yeah, they tried to turn on the series. They tried to turn Harry Mudd into that for the Discovery show. And it's like, dude, you're writing him all wrong. He's a greedy prick. Yeah, he's a trouble. He causes trouble, but he's just a troublemaker. He's not a real villain.
Yeah, that's like saying Superman's greatest villain. That's like saying Superman's greatest villain is Polka Dot Man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Warren. I mean, not Warren Beatty, but the Beatty character in Superman the movie.
Oh, in the movie, yeah, Otis is
Otis,
which is pretty much tantamount to that.
Yeah.
It again, you can tell when somebody's actually studied something, and when they understand it. And what you had was, with this new corporate Trek stuff, you got people that have absolutely no idea what Star Trek truly is.
Well, they're the kind of people that if they were to try to make Superman the Motion Picture over again, they would make Otis and Miss Tessbacher the brains behind the operation, and they're just using Lex Luthor in the film. That's how bad they think.
I quickly want to say, bringing this here, because we are getting on great all over the place, but Spock is a legend. He always will be. Leonard Nimoy is a legend, not just as Spock. He's also Galvatron. I'm going to throw that Transformers little tidbit in there too. But meet the iconic half-human, half-Vulcan Spock. He is the first officer aboard the Enterprise and Captain James G. Kirk's right-hand man. His favorite word is fascinating, or almost highly illogical. The Vulcan salute pictured is still a fun party trick. It is called, oh my God, Live Long and Prosper is pretty much what everyone puts it as. But yeah, not everyone can do it. The actor Leonard Nimoy, who passed away in 2015, may he rest his soul forever, never managed to get away from his role as Mr. Spock, as you were probably partaking earlier to his books. Back to the
because the first book was his resentment. And then by the time he wrote the second book, I Am Spock, he was letting fans know, I embrace this. I should have never rejected it. He talks about how he did reject it and how it took him years to finally understand how important this was.
Pod Racing Palpatine says, hey, Steven, this show needs more lens flare. No. Terry Wilkins says, my mom used to watch Trek when I got home from school. Yeah. Harry Mudd, is a con man, not a killer. Yes, Tech.
Here's the other thing about Star Trek, though. It's a show that can be watched by anyone. It's a show that was made to be seen by the entire family. You know, you don't have to put qualifiers in there to actually create a Star Trek show for kids or for adults. Star Trek was really meant to be a show for everyone. And the fact that the corporate Trek people don't understand that, you know, another mark against them.
Well, I think someone has re-upped their sponsorship. Thank you for being a member. And Arwen, this one's for you.
All I want is some sweet new balls.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, clean your ears out, woman. I want some balls.
I like the movie Team America. I like balls.
But,
You have big balls.
before Gary talks about his balls tomorrow, hold on. Back to the past. In 1984, Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home was hugely successful and the first real hit movie in the Star Trek series. The Enterprise arrives from the future back in the middle of the 1980s. The now somewhat dated crew makes fun of itself. They do. Scotty tries to talk to a computer mouse. Hello, computer. And Spock hides his ears with a bandana and dresses up as a hippie on drugs. And swims with whales and dolphins.
Do you know where the nuclear vessels are in Alameda? Yeah, they're over in Alameda. That's what I said.
You know, the thing that really has to be understood about Star Trek and the series going into what would eventually become a series of hit films is that Star Trek was technically only gone 10 years. A decade. Yeah. You know, 1969 is when the last episode aired. And they were back in movie theaters by 1979.
Almost on television. If it hadn't been for Star Wars, it would have gone back to TV with Star Trek Phase 2.
Yep. Which really was the basis for what they had eventually would create Star Trek the Motion Picture out of.
Well, that's where the elements of that... Because a lot of people don't know that Captain Decker of the Enterprise is the son of Commodore Decker from Doomsday Machine in Star Trek, the original series.
And he was also the character that was the basis for...
as well as Ilea. Both of them were the inspiration for Next Generation's Riker and Troy. Same relationship, same dynamic with the telepathy. I mean... Gene didn't even try to hide it.
Well, also, the way Captain Kirk was meant to be written in Phase 2 was also the basis for Jean-Luc Picard in Next Generation.
Yeah, he was older, more reserved.
Potteries and Palpatine says we didn't have a lot of channels back then. There were many shows that were family shows. Land of the Giants, Lost in Space, Star Trek, all great shows along with many, many more. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're talking my language there, buddy.
I was able to watch UFO. You know,
UFO was another favorite of mine by Jerry Anderson.
Oh, geez.
Spelled the same way as mine, but pronounced Jerry because the English don't know what they're fucking talking about.
But Jerry Anderson was cool.
Space 1999, Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds are go.
That's the other thing. If you really think about it, Space 1999 picked a perfect time to come out as a series because that was 1973 or 4 is when it hit. And so it was just before Star Wars hit. And the show picked, again, it was sad that it went off the air, but it picked the perfect time to go away because
it was corporate politics that fucked that show up because they wanted the U.S. Office for ITC to take over production, and immediately they just started changing shit, and all the stuff that worked with season 1 were gone.
Yeah,
and it became a Monster of the Week show,
which is really all Hollywood truly understood about science fiction was to turn everything into a Monster of the Week show. I mean, that's what they attempted to do, even with the $6 million.
Well, they did it because that's what messed up Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Because it went from being a really interesting show that takes place after a war, and with the whole spy and who's the bad guy, to all of a sudden we're venturing to a new island or underwater world where there's another creature that's going to invade the ship and try to kill people. It's like,
that's a pre-Star Trek show that would have benefited a lot being more like Star Trek.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Do you remember?
Because the movie was great with Walter Pigeon.
I know. Do you remember what year Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, the series, took place in?
1999, wasn't it? Am I right?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And UFO took place in 1984.
Yep. I remember that one.
Ooh.
Yeah. I remember in 84. Oh, where's my cool car from UFO?
I was wanting the women
Stryker's
on the
car
moon
was so
that
fucking
looked
cool.
like the women that they had up there. It's like, oh yeah, hot women with purple wigs. Mm-hmm.
Wet man, dude. If you go back and you get HD copies of that show, the mesh uniforms
Really?
shows some nipples.
Really?
Mm. Yeah, the underwater uniforms were mesh, and you can see stuff. It was nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fat Steven presents Old Men Getting Hard. I meant flaccid. Don't write that in the private chat, Gary. I'm not going to read it.
Here we go. I'm looking for a photo.
Oh, great. Can't wait.
Hey, it's all technically Star Trek related anyway. You know, again, this is.
And then we get to the next generation because they have taken the anniversary of the first premiere of the TOS. And I'm going to show you something. Then it goes to next generation. Exchanging pleasantries. And then we get the humor transcends the universe. Star Trek has inspired parodies. Like you got look at this. It's just like it's fantastic. And then we start going down a hill. And then a road where they literally say the future is female. The Netflix series Star Trek Discovery features Michelle Who Gives a Fuck. And
I got no problems with Michelle Yeoh. She's collecting a paycheck.
I'm sorry, my bad. Michelle Yeoh, fantastic actress. Yes, she deserves props. I'm sorry she had to do this show. And then we have Mikey Spock Burnham, who is the bestest fucking ever, no matter the timeline, period, yada yada. Fucking, I just don't care. This shit right here, this is what bothers me. The future is human. No, the future is
human.
Human.
No, the future is out there. We shouldn't be human. The future is out there. It is not just human. It's everything. And then we get like Star Trek has always been a pioneer in diversity, casting Asian and African American actors and actresses in leading roles. The first Star Trek female captain was Catherine Janeway in Star Trek Voyager, 95-2001.
The first female captain to lead a series. The first female captain was actually featured on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
They just ignore all the past.
Yeah, they do.
First lesbian kiss on Star Trek was Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah, it was.
In fact, technically, trans.
Yeah.
Yep, but hey, that has to go out the window.
Because the Trill was male.
What year was 99 set in?
Let me take
That's like the question, who's buried in Grant's tomb?
Oh, shit.
Moonbase Alpha, which just celebrated, we just celebrated their anniversary of Moonbase Alpha a couple weeks back, a week or two back.
I always was annoyed that I didn't feel like they really conveyed who was responsible for them being the explosion on the moon and then being shifted out of orbit. They made a movie out of the first 3 episodes,
Mhm.
And I still felt when I watched that, because I watched it's not a bad edited film. I mean, they would do shit like that. They did that with Battlestar Galactica.
Mhm.
They released the pilot as a movie with two-parter. And I went to the theater to see it. I watched it on TV and I still paid to go see it. That's how big a fucking nerd I am. But what was that?
Ah,
Was that
that's fun.
subliminal advertising?
It was, yes.
Eat
But,
more popcorn.
No, we've been going about an hour and 10 minutes. I want to. I know on this we could probably talk about this forever, but we just wanted to give a nod. But I think the one thing we've forgotten, Keith and Gary, since you come from a generation where this was like prime time for you, give us one of your favorite memories from Star Trek.
I know mine.
From the whole history, or just where it's connected to the original series?
What makes you? What is the first?
Yeah, the
thing
original
about-
series.
What is the
Because
first?
that's what this is about.
Thank you, Gary, for letting me answer my own question. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's great.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll just stop. What I was going to say is, when you think Star Trek Anniversary,
Mhm.
what is the first thing that pops in your head? Because Gary, it's mesh uniforms with nipples. I know that much.
Oh, you know what? For me, it would have to be.
It's hard.
It always is.
That must be uncomfortable.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I tuck it into the belt.
But,
Allows me to walk.
if I had to pick one particular memory, it would be. Oh man, it would have to be the episode. It would have to be the Deadly Years. It's
With
not
the grubs.
it's not necessarily an episode that is the best episode ever, but I remember seeing that and just thinking, wow, that's scary to prematurely age and get old and have gray and oh, wait a minute. Oh man. It's just I don't know. That's an episode that I really like. That one and A Piece of the Action are two of my favorites. And The Empath. The Empath is a really good one.
Zach has a question quickly. What were people talking about Trek during its original run? Was it a water cooler show?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yes.
was. They were the Nielsen ratings. The way they measured that was changed just after Star Trek went off the air. If you use the way that they measured the Nielsen ratings after 1960 or after the show was off the air, Star Trek technically would have been a top 20 show. Easy.
And because I remember going to school when it was still on and talking to other kids about it, and it was just we couldn't stop talking about it. But my favorite memory and earliest memory of Star Trek was watching the Gorn episode, which was Armageddon Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, because I'd watch Star Trek with my brother Michael and my dad. And when that Gorn came walking out, breathing like that, and the lizard head, I jumped up and ran behind the sofa because sofa was a place of safety for kids. We would hide behind them. This is not something I did. It's like a lot of kids would do that. And I would hide behind my dad and my brother Mike because I'm like, yeah, he'll get them first. And I can run away, kill my brother and my dad. That's one of my earliest memories and fondest memories of watching Star Trek. Was when that aired.
It is, again, this is one of those shows that truly sparked the imagination. And when you really think about it, all of these characters were characters that were in some capacity leaders or really good at what they did. You were talking about people that were highly decorated. They were the best of the best. And while I understand that for people writing in Hollywood today, how they have to show different types of people, I think they need to understand that while it is good to have representation, you also have to understand that in order to explore and to do the kind of exploring that these characters were meant to do, they had to be the best of the best. You can't have people that have emotional issues 24/7. You can't write Star Trek and have it be a CW
Yeah, you
show.
can't have somebody dyslexic on as a bridge second in command.
Well, you could, but you got to write it better. You got to write it better.
They can't have that would never be allowed on. They would have to be treated for it, and to where it's not an issue anymore, because they're going to be writing reports, reading reports. It's part of the thing. They're going to be giving commands from those reports.
Mm-hmm.
If you have dyslexia and it's a problem, it's a problem. The military is really strict about that. I learned that firsthand.
Shane Nolan says, "Hail to Small Point, Jerry. You know the British invented English. Kidding. The show Mad Men set in the 60s talked about Star Trek. The character quit advertising to write a Star Trek episode. F Balance of Terror is mine."
And Shane, all I got to say is the best English people migrated to the United States and learned how to pronounce shit right.
Now, I had one thing. I had one thing that's not Star Trek. And did you guys see this announcement yet today?
Yes, I did. I did see that.
Animated Injustice film coming in the fall.
Based on the game, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And we're gonna get
Keith
4K.
might give a shit about this. I don't care.
Well, I mean, again, it's amazing what Hamada is trying to do before he finds himself without a job. There's lots of stuff that is getting.
Well, I
greenlit.
lost interest in there because of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Over the last decade, their cartoons went to shit.
Yeah.
Where it used to be, Warner Animated was the best part of DC.
All of their direct-to-home video Batman stuff, the stuff they did with Batman and Robin, his son Damian, and all those movies that they made, I've been saying since the very first one, they should have just went ahead and made that a television series.
Yep.
That
Adventures
looks
of Batman
good.
and Damian.
We need Batman off the big screen and back on the small screen.
We need Ben Affleck voicing an animated Batman series.
Or a live
Probably.
action. I'll fucking watch him on a
Probably.
live action.
But it shouldn't just be Batman and Damian. What it should be is the Batman family, the entire Batman family.
So you're
Because
saying Bat Fam?
Na 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 Batman.
they've some of the last films they put out with that cast were expanding the Batman family. You had Batwoman, you had even Batwing. You know,
Don't forget Batmite.
not this year, but I think that we're even going to introduce. I think at the end of the last one, the Bad Blood movie, they were looking at introducing Batgirl, but they never got a chance because they stopped making them. You know, but
Yeah, they're so stupid.
it's Wally. Wally. So he needs help. He just needs to have his resume find itself somewhere at Netflix or someplace else. So he'll be fine. He'll land on his feet.
I guess we should start wrapping up because secretly I want to play some goddamn video games. And that's what this picture was brought up before. I tried something new today. You know what Warzone is, right, Gary? The
Yes.
free-to-play battle royale. So this is what you saw. And I went into random squads today. Going, you remember my movies? do you like Steven Seagal? And there are a lot of people like, you're not the real Steven Seagal. I'm like, I am the real Steven Seagal. I'm on YouTube. They're like, you're not on YouTube. I'm like, right now, go on YouTube and you will see me calling out your name. And then I called out their name and they left the party because they didn't believe me. So don't leave just yet. This will be premiering tomorrow. A clip from that. You can catch the whole live stream. But I'm rolling with this. I want to get someone who has an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice and come in with me eventually. Like, what do you mean? Sylvester Stallone bumbling away. But because this is private, it doesn't premiere till tomorrow. I'm going to let people watch it first here. And I'm going to have to stop sharing and share with audio because I'm a moron and forget to do things like that. So give me 1 second to get the volume going. And just stick around, guys. I'm going very slow today. It's been a weird day. It's been a weird week. You'll catch the actual opening today as soon as I take this overlay off. You ready?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh shit! Oh god, my fat broke the rope. Oh, you just landed. I didn't land. The rope snapped. Don't get me, man. Come on, run. Don't touch me there, you pervert. Oh, where'd you stick that? Oh my god, that hurt. Don't take my money. Who do you fuck think you are? I'm too sweet. You're taking my guns, man. Fuck this shit. You're being so mean to Steven Seagal. Oh my god. That pancake blew the fuck up.
Oh my god. That was pretty good. It was pretty good.
That was part of it, but they're actually having a blast. So Steven Seagal is going into Warzone and stuff.
I got one last thing to share with you before we go.
Oh, no.
This is something I posted on Zoe's page. See if you can figure it out.
Hold on. Before you do, Spirian drops in. Thank you for being a member and for the channel, bro. Hope we get to play again soon. My favorite Star Trek memory is in The Voyage Home. McCoy in the hospital asked the older lady, what's wrong with you? She says, kidney dialysis. Bones says dialysis. What is this? The Dark Ages? I remember
Ages,
that. That was a great season.
That was a great
Then-
one. That movie had so many great
Hold on.
lines.
Then he gives her a pill. And then when everyone is running out of the hospital, doctors are confused. And the old lady says, the doctor gave me a pill and that grew a new kidney. I was on dialysis for 12 years. I get it.
It's also the film where we get the great scene with Scotty and the computer. Hello, computer.
He's holding the mouse up to his head and it's fucking...
Yeah, use the mouse. Mouse. How quaint. Hello, computer. Use the keyboard. Anyway, have you figured it out? Keith, have you figured it out?
Oh yeah. You
All
want me to?
Steven, no? Let's see if Steven figured it out. Zoe laughed when I said it to her. Steven, you there?
No, I don't get it. I'm
Keep-
actually...
Nana, 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 Batman.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's so stupid. I can't believe I didn't get that one. I can't believe I didn't get that one.
I fucking, when I saw that, I got it immediately and just started laughing, going, whoever drew this is fucking brilliant. Nana, 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 Batman.
Fred Saka says this stream is more interesting than all of Kurtzman's Trek put together. Thank you for that, because I tried so hard not to steal any of what I just said with these two men from another man's idea.
No grifting tonight, Steven.
I'm grifting every night. Remember to give me money. Give me lots and lots of money. And before we go out, I'm going to quickly show this favorite scene, because everyone has Golden Girls Batman. Everyone remembers that. Hello, computer. And you know what? The best thing about it, since we're bringing up Scotty, is when he came back in fucking Next Generation. That episode was fucking amazing.
Yeah, with the Dyson Sphere. That was
The Dyson
that was
Sphere,
really
I
good.
love that fucking episode. I really
Yeah, it is.
fucking
It's
do.
brilliant.
Because not only does he get to go out,
He used
And-
transphasic transport to
Heating.
hold him in stasis.
Him and a crew member, but the crew member didn't make it, so he could
Yep.
survive.
It had like a small percentage of degradation. And I was just like, fuck, I love Star Trek.
This is your real Star Trek Day poster. That's what it should be.
And you guys, for the haven't seen it, I don't know if Keith has seen it. Ladies and gentlemen, Crisco Core has merch. And it goes up to 4XL, Gary. So we got stickers. The Master Griff sticker is there. Long sleeves. And this is my personal favorite right now. Master Grift, don't steal content without it. Sure. Fucking love it. And on the back, which it did not put on there, is supposed to have, I guess it's the purple one that has it. Other products. Go to the classic tee. It's not going to the classic tee now. Yeah, it's supposed to have Crisco Core on the back, but I didn't get that on there. But yeah, check it out. Jester was one, and Will Gentry one of the first purchasers, and that's the store. I'm gonna get Gary one of the tank top, the woman's tank top, to see if he'll fit in it like a negligee, and I'll get Keith maybe a shirt that says "I don't know these guys," so he can wear it every time it gets uncomfortable on stream.
Well, it could go like that.
But I want to give a quick shout out and thank you to the members here who have been supporting this channel. All 40 of you. You guys have pretty much helped me out of a lot of situations lately with the way things are going. I want to thank you guys that come by and watch and participate every day, whether you're members or just subscribers. Like, thank you. Mods, you do an amazing job. Even when your kid takes your phone away and bans people when they shouldn't. Zax, it's okay. Things happen. And I hope we can get more people in the future. Spirit says the ship they found Scotty in was the Sydney class called the USS Jenolan. Yep. It's one of my favorite ships in Star Trek. Damn, dude. Damn, I should have brought you on here for a trek. We're going to have to bring you on for a trek sometime. He's quick, says Zach. I bet he is. You should probably get like a bioscanner or something put in there. And thank you, Jester. By the 20th, I hope to see that shirt. Hopefully it fits, because no refunds.
And by the way, Zax, is that you or your kid commenting?
Oh, shit. That's the kid talking in third person. But guys, can we wrap up? Are you guys good?
Oh, man. Yeah,
like
we were
to think
done like
so.
20 minutes ago, but I stick around for you guys because
You are so full of shit. You just
the
wanted to
chat,
talk
you know,
about
the chat's watching. They want more to watch.
Well, then what do we want to talk about? Because it's what did you the Steven Seagal shit with the Warzone? I think it's going to be hilarious. I really do. It's just
Go for it. Yeah.
his spelling is better, so that's how we know who Zax is actually talking. Who is talking right now, Zax or the kid? Yeah, Kyle, you kind of caught me. But let's wrap it up. I'm going to say thank you to Gary and Keith for
Wrap it up. I'll take it.
and everyone else. Stay tuned because the members outro. I'll put a pic in your Discord. Thank you. And here's the outro. Live long and prosper. It's Star Trek, the original series day. Nothing else.
That's
Live
right.
long and prosper. And I just realized I'm using a Star Wars credit scene for this fucking outro. I'm sorry about that.
Stop touching me, Steven.
That's your own hand.
Cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Oh, the city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone.
I bet you're dancing.
I got a lot of grifters in my community. Do you notice this? I got a lot of grifters in my community. This is great.
Yeah. Are you dancing to this right now?
No, but Keith does a lot.
Hey, here's the dance. That's all I'll do. There you go. Ooh,
When it comes to music, Keith is the whitest dude I know.
Hi, Jace. You just joined at the end.
I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the light. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
Jace has just joined while we're closing out. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and say goodbye to Jace.
No, I can't sleep
Bye.
until I feel your touch.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
What's up, Sweden?
Fuck you.
Oh, I love him up. Y'all have a good night. We'll be back with some Steven Seagal faces off.
See y'all next time.
Yeah. Stop taking my underwear.
Yeah.